Bantu Tesla. This is going to be another movie where I'm going to critique uh, some follow-up analysis on the Q3 report that was done primarily by a CEO of Gerber Kawasaki. His name is Ross Gerber, and he's talking about he's given his critique based on an interview he's doing with some station financial station person that I'm not sure who they were. But the main thing I want to focus on is Ross. This guy is the CEO of Gerber Kawasaki, which is a big investment firm down on Wall Street. And the thing I want to show you here is you got to remember, I did a video for you that was almost 3 weeks ago. And I told you then that these guys are just way behind, and this guy is finally doing an interview now talking about all of these things that they suddenly realize, things that I've been telling you for the last 3-4 months. Okay. And this is why, the reason I'm doing this, I want you to see how far ahead I'm getting you by giving you this data, on Tesla, and showing you that when you're buying this stock now, you're way ahead of the curve. They're going to drop some numbers on you in here where they're going to talk about Tesla doubling from $422 a share. So that's going to make it close to $900 a share just from where it is right now. Okay, and if you can just do that, that's 100% of your money gained right there. And even if the stock does nothing else after that, no big deal. Most people can't double their money in the stock market. Okay, so what I want to do is go through this, his analysis, and then give you my critique and point out things that I've already pointed out to you. And again, one of the key things I want you to notice about this analysis that he's given, he does not factor in anything having to do with Tesla Robotaxi. It doesn't factor anything to do with Tesla Semi. He doesn't factor in anything to do with Tesla Solar Roof, Tesla Powerwall, any of that stuff. None of the other things that I talked to you about that go way beyond what Tesla is currently doing. He's just talking about Tesla Automotive. And he may hint at, he mentions some things about full self-driving, or they call autopilot, and the explosion in profits that's going to bring to Tesla. And so you're going to notice, you see his face, they're just getting what I told you 3-4 weeks ago. They're just getting it. Okay? So we're ahead of the curve here, and I want you to value this information and how far ahead of the curve we are on this. Okay, and invest accordingly. Okay, family, let's go ahead and let's look at this and see what we got here.
We can see Tesla stock, doubling again over the next 2 to 3 years. So, there's a lot of opportunity still in Tesla as it goes from, sort of a startup, shaky company into its mature profit growth stage, which could last a decade. So this could be a really long, fun ride, short-term and long-term. Of course, there's a lot of risk with Tesla, but, they're changing the world.
So now, you heard him talking about the price doubling. Another thing he mentioned here is that they're talking about S&P inclusion, which really don't mean nothing. That means nothing to the stock, really. It's going to bump the price up a little bit and increase the demand a little bit, and you'll get a little bump with the S&P inclusion. You might get a nice bump. We don't know. We've never seen anything like Tesla before. But the key thing that Ross Gerber said is that they now realize that Tesla is not just any old company. After, let's see, Tesla's been out since 2012, folks. That's 8 years. They are finally awakening to the reality that this is a world-changing company. And that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. I've been telling you guys about this family for at least since I started talking Tesla and long before I started shooting these movies. Tesla is a mind-boggling, world-changing company. So the stock is not going to behave like a regular stock. This stock is going to be out of this world because they're doing out of this world, one of a kind things. He's going to mention here too what I told you 2 movies ago. Once you see Tesla creating things that have never been done before, for instance, I mean the batteries, this new battery tech that they made the announcement about, you got to ask yourself, how is it that you could have a company like Panasonic, CATL, LG Chem, battery makers, right? Duracell and all these kind of people, right? And they've never done anything to change much of anything with these batteries until now. They just recently announced that Panasonic is going to be copying. They don't know the chemistry that's in Tesla's 4680 battery, the new big battery that they announced. They don't know what the chemistry is of that battery. It was produced in a whole nother building away from them where they couldn't see what was going on. See? So now they're going to finally copy and follow what Tesla led them to, push them, I should say, to finally do. See, and I'm not going to flower up what's going on here. My job is to give it to you raw, both barrels, pull the pin on grenades and let it explode and give it to you. Let the shrapnel land where the shrapnel lands. Their job, they're trying to sell you. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I don't want no money from you or anything. So I'm giving it to you raw, both barrels. Okay? This thing about Tesla, the key thing, I want you to keep this in your mind. Tesla is a world-changing company. And what they're doing, and they're just getting warmed up. Remember, I'm telling you this on this date. Today is this is November the 5th. I'll put the date on the movie. They're just getting started. Okay, family? So as I told you before, buckle up and get ready for the ride of your life. If you've been buying into this stock little by little, I've been posting some things on Facebook, on our page, showing you where Stephen Ryan, and by the way, I want to give Stephen Ryan an honorable mention here and thank him for this is footage that I kind of edited off of his presentation on YouTube, and I'll give him credit and I'll link it on the website when I post it up on Facebook for you guys, so you can go see the whole thing for yourself. But I believe I already posted, but I'm gonna put it on there anyway, just in case. All right, because I want him to get credit for what he did. He's the one that brought this to my attention. These are my analysts, Stephen Mark Ryan and all the others that I showed you. If you scroll down in the feed on the long-term investment on Facebook, on the long-term investment group, you're going to see my analysts. And Stephen Mark Ryan he's right up there at the top. You know, Tasha Heaney is the only other person. She's a part of ARK Invest. She's another person who is really right on the cutting edge of everything that's going on with Tesla, and she works for ARK Invest. Okay, and Kathy Woods is the CEO of ARK Invest. Okay, so let's move on and let's see what we got here. Okay.
We're watching it today. It was jumping 6% in my last check, with news of a deal with Panasonic, and this is all about battery cells and faster capacity. Reportedly, Tesla, which right now is at 422. Where do you think Tesla's headed?
Yeah, and I think you've seen a lot of these tech stocks, Tesla included, they've kind of been on a treadmill to maybe trading slightly lower as we go through this period of risk off and maybe some anxiety going into the elections. I think this is a stock you look out 475, 500 is sort of the base case. Because ultimately, when you look at a Tesla in terms of EV demand, especially out of China, and you've seen NIO, a stock reacting real strongly there, it's only 3 to 4% penetration. And I think Tesla right now is on the precipice of just a demand spike, not just in China, but global. And that continues to be the call here over the next few years to play those secular themes. And where Tesla was it's also profitable. That's also the key theme here in terms of potentially S&P 500 inclusion now finally on the horizon.
Congratulations, Elon and Tesla, for finally pushing out this version of autopilot. And, this is the real deal here. This allows cars to drive on the streets, make intelligent decisions, turn at intersections and stoplights and things, and basically take you from door to door. So it's not quite ready yet. So they've slowed it down, and it is a beta version. So they're letting, a few users really get their, hands on this thing and test it. And that's how it builds its knowledge, through the neural net, through its AI learning of what's actually happening in the system. So this is the beginning of really an exciting time for autonomy and Tesla as we now begin to break on through to the other side.
Okay. So there you have it. I want you to pay very close attention to Ross Gerber's facial expressions, because this is classic awakening by a CEO of he's not no analyst. He probably is an analyst in his prior, before he formed his own company. And that's typically what they do. But that's where Kathy Woods came from, by the way. She was an analyst for another company, and she formed her own company because they see that they can do things next level if they're not under the thumb of a boss. So this guy, Ross Gerber, see, now he's real. You look at his face, you're going to see he realizes the impact of full self-driving alone. And he's finally admitting that they recently evaluated Tesla against GM's that crap, whatever they autopilot crap that they got for GM's garbage. And Consumers Reports gave them a higher rating than Tesla. But this is not going to work because they evaluated the GM package, whatever that thing is they got, that just masquerading as autopilot. GM is just becoming a big scam artist. But that thing that they're masquerading as autopilot is a complete joke. The thing can't even stay in the line. It's just a complete joke. And I don't understand. Consumer Report has just lost all credibility that it used to have. It was already on the ropes, and now it's done because they're siding with GM over Tesla. Oh, they have made a monumental mistake. They've made a monumental mistake. And Ross Gerber is showing you that they have finally awoken to Tesla and this full self-driving feature alone. This has nothing to do with semi. This has nothing to do with, again, solar roof or the rest of their energy storage or their charging system, the worldwide global charging system that Tesla is the only one that has. Out of all they own their own service centers and dealerships. None of the other companies do that. Only Tesla does that. And what Gerber is going to eventually start to awaken to, and he hasn't fully awoken to the whole thing yet, unless he's just holding back, that Tesla has so many built-in startups that make the company that he hasn't really fully realized what I've been telling you. And I did that 8-point list side. I'm gonna put it up here again to remind you. This 8-point PowerPoint slide that I created for you 3 weeks ago. This is what he's finally waking up to. That's how behind the curve these guys are. So what I'm giving you, I want you to value what I'm giving you for free. Okay, this is valuable information that can make you a millionaire. If you have a 401k and you roll that over into a Roth IRA, you can take as much as you can get and put into this Tesla stock. And the reason I'm suggesting this to you, that's what I'm doing. Okay, you do what you want to do. But what I'm doing is I'm rolling everything I can get my hands on other than my 3 speculative stocks. I got some Jive, 5 shares of one little Neo. Neo is going to do very well. But my other speculative stocks, they're very cheap. And I can get hundreds and thousands of shares of them. So that's why I'm sticking with those. But everything else, that when I get enough money to do some big fractionals, like get a couple $100 to spare, I'm going to buy as much Tesla as possible. But right now, my Tesla, the Tesla holdings in my portfolio really is the largest holding that I have in my whole portfolio. So I'm kind of done. But for you guys that have 401ks and you're growing it every paycheck, you want to keep rolling that money into and buying, set up an automatic buy where it can buy Tesla stock until it gets to like around $1,000 a share. And even then, you can keep going with it. But once it gets to like $1,000 a share, I tend to back off because of my income level. Now, you guys may be able to buy more, but the more you buy now, in 5 to 10 years, you'll never regret it. This stock is going to go through the roof because as much as Ross Gerber is saying now, he's won, just won. And there's another guy, the guy that came in earlier in the show. I'm not sure who he is and who the lady is that's doing the interview here, but the other guy is waking. He's also waking up to this Tesla stock. So if these two guys are waking up to it, that means the rest of Wall Street is already on it too. So it won't be long for the demand for Tesla is going to go through the roof. And they haven't even gotten to fourth quarter yet. They haven't done their December reporting, which is done in January. Now, barring this coronavirus, if this coronavirus behaves and stays on target, and if Biden can get in there, we know he's going to institute some things that's going to get this virus under control. Once that happens, the schools are going to open up. Everything's going to open back up. We're going to be back to business as usual. They're going to do an infrastructure program. They're even talking about bringing back the $5,000 credit on the EV cars, and they're going to make it infinite. Just leave it on for indefinite period of time. So that means you all can get $5,000 off if you buy a Tesla. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you can put the money together, folks, buy one of these Teslas. Get yourself a Model Y, because pretty soon you won't be able to get these cars. The father and son team on Now You Know, they did and I posted it on Facebook. I hope you guys watched it. Pretty soon, the reality is, I don't think you're going to be able to get these cars after 2025, because the value of them is going to be so high that, and they're going to come out with a ride sharing program where most people can pay $100 a month, and they can get a ride from anywhere, anytime. So free, because you're paying $100 a month for it. So you won't have to pay when you use the car. When people get wise to that, no insurance, no repairs, no maintenance, no parking of the car, you don't have that problem at all. When people get wise to that, folks, I'm telling you, just like I'm telling you about Tesla being a world-class, one-of-a-kind stock, this is going to come to pass. And the robo-taxi, and the full self-driving autopilot, that's what's going to make this thing explode. You don't see it now. I do. People are going to be, once they see how safe this is, it's the safety that's going to blow it out through the roof. It's going to really blow the insurance companies and everybody when they see the safety of it. Right now they don't see it because they're nitpicking. People don't like change, and Tesla's not farting around. They are bringing massive change, and suddenly, and that's why it's scaring the hell out of everybody. But once they get their heads around this, they're gonna lap it up like crazy, and they won't be able to get enough of it. And you're ahead of the curve because I'm making sure you know what the hell is going on. Okay, family, let's see what else we got going here.
For so long, Elon had been talking about getting to a sustainable position for the company where they wouldn't need capital, they would be cash flow positive, and they would be able to grow their business rapidly without needing to tap capital markets. And he's finally done it, adding $14 billion of liquidity onto the balance sheet with a real smart capital raise. They've got the gigafactories in Berlin and in Austin, being built as we speak, as well as the expansion of China, which has been hugely successful and not talked about enough in the U.S., is how successful the China factory has become and what a huge contributor to deliveries. And so now Tesla is that company, and it's really exciting because I think now Tesla, is a big company. It's an over $400 billion company, but it moves on to the next stage as they now build out their global domination of EVs and add autonomy into the mix.
All right, now Tesla said earlier this month that it produced a record number of vehicles and deliveries, as you mentioned, in the quarter, and it's now aiming at 500,000 deliveries for 2020. It felt like quite a far-fetched goal earlier in the year, but now it seems very realistic. Do you believe it's going to achieve its target?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be right around that number, and I don't care quarter to quarter too much. I think the bigger trend is that, Elon kind of confirmed next year we're looking at probably 800,000 cars in 2021. It could be 1 million cars, and with what the capacity they're building in 3 years, I estimate they'll be doing 2 million cars.
Okay, so I predicted that Tesla would be doing 750,000 cars next year. And I think they're going to blow that through the roof. I think they're going to do 1 million. I think they're going to hit 1 million. If the virus gets under control and we get the vaccine and we get Biden in, the future is very bright for Tesla. Even though Tesla really doesn't care about the subsidies, the government subsidies, but consumers care about the government subsidies because it's going to chop $5,000 off of the price of that car. And he already has a demand problem. As Elon said, he doesn't have a problem with the demand for the car per se, but he does have a problem with the price of the car. So that's why in 2 more years, in 2023, and probably sooner, he's going to come out with a $25,000 car. And once that car hits the market, folks, that's when the stock is going to explode. So 2023, end of 2022, I think you're going to see some radical changes, but you still have Cybertruck to come out. You still got Semi to come out. You still have Roadster to come out. These 3 cars, these 3 vehicles, when they come out between now and 2022, 2023, these things are going to drive the price of the stock up. So you heard what he said there. They see the price of the stock doubling. They see Tesla making 2 million cars, producing 2 million cars once Berlin, Giga Berlin comes on, and then Giga Texas. That Texas factory is a monster. When that bad boy comes online, folks, it's gonna be groundbreaking, devastating. Okay, so let's continue with this. And again, all I'm doing here is letting you see that things that I told you 3 weeks ago, these cats are finally waking up to. Okay, so we're ahead of the curve on this, and I'm gonna keep you ahead of the curve. Okay, let's see what we got here.
When you start extrapolating that out, we can see Tesla stock doubling again over the next 2 to 3 years. So, there's a lot of opportunity still in Tesla as it goes from, sort of a startup, shaky company into its mature profit growth stage, which could last a decade. So this could be a really long, fun ride, short-term and long-term. Of course, there's a lot of risk with Tesla, but, they're changing the world.
Okay, there you have it. They are saying if you can get the stock under $400 a share, it is a steal. I mean, it is highway robbery. Considering, remember what he said, for the next 10 years, they see a hell of a ride in Tesla stocks. That's why I told you I'm in it for 10 to 15 years. I may peel off some shares so I can get the car, and other than that, I'm not selling a single share. And so because nobody's going to be selling the shares, it's going to make the price of the stock is going to go up because everybody's going to want it and they won't be able to get it. When this thing goes into S&P, the funds, they're going to be buying millions of shares of Tesla stock. So there's not going to be a whole lot left over. And when there is high demand and no product available, the price goes up. That's what's going to drive the price up, folks. There's going to be such a demand for the stock And all we're talking about is automotive. We're not talking about solar roof, solar panel, power wall, mega pack, power pack, all of these things that the buildings and the corporations who have brick and mortar buildings, they're going to start buying these products. And and we're not talking about Tesla insurance either. We're not talking about Tesla robo-taxi, ride sharing. When all these things come online, once this full self-driving is in place, you're going to see exponential expansion of the price of the stock, because all these other things are going to start to come online. Tesla solar roof, when people see how pretty it is, they just don't know. You got to understand, folks, people, no matter how much I'm talking to you, people do not know about Tesla solar roof. They barely know about the car. I talk to people out in the street. They barely know about the car. I'm like the only guy that walks around with a Tesla shirt. Nobody else is doing it. These people, I'm in Florida, so they're really numbskulls down here. But Florida is the place where Tesla is going to really thrive, because the batteries love the heat. They don't like the cold. So they have cooling systems now where that's going to make Florida the number one place. This is where you want to have an EV, a Tesla. You want to have it in Florida. And they are increasing the charging stations every day. Also, they're coming out with a new charging system that they're going to start building into the current charging system that is global, that will be used to charge the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck is going to have its own charging system. The Tesla semi-truck is going to have its own charging system. That's another product, another startup company that Tesla is going to be creating, folks. That every time they bring something else online, stock goes up. I want you to remember, I told you this. The stock is going to go up. When you see the stock, I had one person call me and tell me, what's going on with the Tesla stock? Why is it? No, I'm sorry, they didn't call me. I ran into a guy in the parking lot who invested in the stock. And he actually said, what's going on with the stock? How come it's not going up? I told him, I said, listen, you better thank God it's not going up. I said, while it's down around 400, and if it dips below 400, you better sell your firstborn child to get as much of that stock, or rent them out at least, or out, to get as much of that stock as possible, because when it explodes, it'll be too late. I mean, you're going to really have to have serious money. You have to be a multimillionaire to be able to buy this stock. And when it they already said it's going to double. That's going to make it $844 at $422. So that's going to make $844. Is how far is $844 from $1,000 a share? So buckle up, folks. This is going to get serious.
Tesla has a shareholder base of people who won't sell the stock. And a lot of that base won't sell under any circumstances. And that creates sort of a bottom here where it just can't go lower, because who's going to sell the stock? All the sellers sold a year ago at the bottom. And so the only sellers are really the traders, or the people who aren't long-term investors in Tesla. So the way I look at Tesla is that this is a great stock to own for the long term. It's a bit expensive because the market is, but on any pullbacks, especially if we can get the stock under 400, we're buyers of Tesla, and we think it's the most exciting opportunity over the next decade in the stock market. So there's one thing that people don't get. It's when people invent new things. And Tesla invented a new battery. It started with the cell development and how a cell is built and what goes into a cell, to how the cell is manufactured, all the way on through to building battery packs completely differently than everybody else. This is one of the greatest innovations we've seen since the computer chip. When has anybody rebuilt a battery? We've been using the same Duracells forever. So the fact of the matter is that this battery production facility is just an enormous opportunity for Tesla. It's huge. And so as they now are vertically integrated and grow from, essentially, taking the raw materials in one end of the factory and coming out with a car at the other end of the factory, they're actually becoming completely self-sufficient and being able to manufacture the highest density, powerful batteries ever created. And so everybody else is going to be using old battery technology except for Tesla, and that gives Tesla a huge edge. And we don't really know what the range and capabilities of these batteries are because they haven't really been built yet. So now that it's being built, the potential is enormous. So we think they're anywhere from 5 to 10 times better than the current battery systems, and this is a game changer.
Do you think that the company is likely to start doing more and more of its own lithium mining?
Well, they are. I mean, we know that they've, at least from what I think, is that they've already locked up, contracts, long-term contracts with suppliers for lithium and other core materials that they're building. They're also trying to move away from the harder to develop, and mine type of metals to metals that are cheaper and easier to mine. But we have no fear of Tesla's ability to get raw material. There's plenty of these materials in the earth to use, and they just need to get it out in, I think, a clean manner. But other than that, Tesla's already locked this all up. So people underestimate Elon's vision constantly. He's thinking 10 years ahead. He's already locked it all up. So, Tesla is so far ahead of everybody. Actually, they are the only one. They're just the only player.
Okay. So, again, he's talking about Tesla, the new battery, like it's some new discovery. I mean, folks, this happened last month. So, these folks are so far behind. It's not even funny. I don't understand this. Why? I guess they're so busy they don't really pay much attention, and they're not watching YouTube. They're not watching our analysts. My analysts are reporting every day. Tesla Daily with Rob Mauer is reporting every day. Solving the money problem with Stephen Ryan in Solving the Money Problem, he's reporting every day. These are the two guys I go to first, and as well as Cleaner Watt, my buddy Jonathan Stewart in Cleaner Watt. These three guys, they're almost reporting every day. So I'm getting daily updates, especially Rob Mauer. Rob Mauer gives you a deep dive. He works for a company that gives him access to deep dive information. Steve Ryan he's like me. He's just a guy who buys the stock, but he watches these programs all day long, and so he's getting up to speed on this stuff every day. Steve Ryan posts stuff on YouTube every day. So I'm getting daily updates. Now this guy Ross Gerber, he's running a whole company, so he's not paying attention to every day. He's looking at a whole bunch of other companies, not just Tesla. See, but I'm fixated on Tesla. I'm fixated on FUV, Arcimoto. I'm fixated on certain things that are certain stocks in my portfolio that I've tapped you into. That he's not paying attention to this stuff. So my videos here is for you guys and my portfolio, showing you what I'm doing. Okay. The key thing I want you to notice here is how he's waking up to the vertical integration of Tesla like it's some new discovery. It's like, you see, he's just waking up to this, and he's telling this lady that as if she doesn't know already. We've been talking about vertical integration for almost 2 and 3 years, and they're just getting into it this month. This is November. We're going into the end of the year. So, folks, we're way ahead of the curve. Okay, let's see what else he's got going here.
People have to understand, Tesla's not running their business to be max profitable. Elon says this all the time. I don't want them to be maximum profitable. What I want them to do is invest for growth. I want to see revenue growth. I want to see factories being built. I want to see production going up, because in the end, they can always turn the lever of profits on when they want to. But right now, it's like Amazon 20 years ago. It's just 100% investment into growth. So they control what they're spending, very much so. And they're very focused. And Elon talked about this yesterday, making sure they don't waste money, that they're investing intelligently the capital that they have, and they don't get lazy doing this. And I think, the bottom line is, they're in great shape right now. They're just in great shape. So Tesla has a couple advantages because of coronavirus. Number one, they've been pushing down the cost of vehicles, not up. So, as they get cost savings, they push that on to the consumer. So prices have been going down for most of the Tesla models over the last couple years as they get more efficient. So they pass on, those savings to the consumer. Number two, it's the only place you can digitally buy a car online from your phone. So the only way, if you want to buy a car on your phone, is through Tesla. So here we are in the digital revolution. Every other car company still got these dealerships that stink. And if you want to buy a car, you just go online and buy one on Tesla and just go pick it up. There's no humans involved. So that's a huge thing just in the digital era. And then the third thing, which I think is actually the cost of ownership of an electric vehicle is almost nothing. And so when you think about paying $80 to fill up your gas tank, or in London, it's probably 100, and then you convert to pounds or whatever currency you're using. And you're like, wow, it's like 200, it's like 50 pounds just to fill up a gas tank. And when you have an electric vehicle, it almost costs nothing. So your cost of operation goes down over time. Plus, you don't have oil changes and brakes replacements and all this kind of stuff. So during a recession, it actually makes a ton of sense to own an EV vehicle. And that's irrelevant for the environment, just solely for the cost savings. So ever since my wife and I got electric vehicles, we can't even tell the difference on our electric bill, and I'm like, this is amazing. We have two amazing cars that cost way less to operate than what we used to with our ICE vehicles. So I think they do okay. I think they do fine.
Just talk to us a bit about the importance of the Chinese market and the gigafactory in Shanghai as well.
See, Americans don't like when our lack of intelligence allows our competitors to make smarter investments in the future of technology, which is what China has done in EVs. And so as America's dithered around trying to support coal and oil under the Trump administration, the Chinese have gone all in on EVs, and they've been supporting EV makers in China, and they're supporting Tesla in China because they wanted to have the most advanced EV factory in the world built in China, and that's where it is. Fremont is a kind of a mess compared to the China factory, which is kind of a masterpiece. So not only do they have more efficiency and cost control in China, their labor costs are substantially less, and now that factory's pumping up, and the Asian demand for EVs is enormous because they also have health issues because of all the pollution, and then they don't actually have oil, so they have to import oil in China. So it's super efficient for them to be the leader here. They're the leader in EVs. Tesla's the leader in China in EVs. This is the real story. Dan Ives is right. There's going to be enormous growth. Now they're exporting EVs from China to Europe, and that's a hugely profitable trade, making something in China and then selling it in Europe. So yeah, this is going to drive profits and growth for a long time for Tesla, and they own 100% of the factory, the only company in America that owns 100% of their Chinese factory.
Okay. So they're finally waking up. There you have it. He's talking about Tesla bringing in raw materials, which he really doesn't do. Some stuff, if he's now the battery for the battery manufacturing, they may bring in some raw materials, some raw lithium, but that lithium has to be processed by another company. So it's not raw. It's raw, but it's not that raw. But they're just waking up to Tesla bringing in raw material in one end and pushing a car out on the other end. Battery and all. Everything is their creation, other than the headlights and maybe the airbags and things like that they have to get from some suppliers, okay? Brakes and things like that. But he's just waking up to that. And it's 3-4 years old. And he's just realizing that Tesla is 10 years ahead of everybody else. That news is 3-4 years old. And they've been telling them, but see, they don't listen until they see the company is profitable. Because they didn't believe Tesla would be profitable. But if they knew Tesla was so far ahead of everybody else, then they would know. If they had been watching Sandy Munro, who's been taking the cars apart and telling people how far ahead Tesla was, like I've been telling you to watch Sandy Munro from Munro Live. Where have these people been? What have they been watching that they don't know this stuff? To me, it's incredible. But my point I want to make to you is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity here, folks. We are so far ahead on this stock. I'm saying to you that, and I'm showing to you, I'm validating for you that these people who own entire companies on Wall Street, they're just catching up. They're just catching up. Okay? And now he sees that Tesla is 10 years ahead of everybody, and at the end, ultimately, he finally admits that he realizes that they're the only player on that level. Nobody else is up there, and nobody else can ever catch up for at least 4 to 5 years. They may catch up with some part of it. They may be able to create some type of full self-driving pack. They may be able to come up with some type of battery. They may be able to do something with the structure of their car manufacturing with skateboards. And the skateboards they're using, Tesla don't even use anymore. He made his own. They just came up with a 3-part, 3-mode, 3-piece. They can make it like that, where it's going to take them 3-4 days to put all the thousands of pieces together. Tesla's way ahead of all of that. So you see, it's just an overwhelming, mind-boggling rate of progress that is devastating these car companies. And no matter how much consumers tries to cover up for GM and all that stuff, GM, if they don't get on their game, if they don't get it together and join up with Volkswagen, Kia, Hyundai, and Hyundai, these cats, they are already on it, and they're going to get left behind. GM is going to go out of business. Ford is going to go out of business. Even Toyota is going to go out of business if they don't get their acts together. And there'll be nothing anybody can do to save them this time, because the technology is not even theirs anymore. They're still trying to hold on to these internal combustion engines, folks, with that dirty gas. And the price of gas is going to go up. People think they're going to be able to get cheaper gas, but you don't understand. When there's no demand, people don't even want to make gas. It's a very filthy, dirty process just to make gasoline, folks. You got to understand this. See, you got to do a little homework. It's not going to be, people think, oh, the price of gas is going to go down because the demand. I thought that too. But I got a feeling it's not going to work out that way. It's not going to work out that way, folks. Nobody's going to want to make gas because you got to have tanks in the ground. You have to have fire extinguishers in case it catches fire. You know, all of that money that it takes and the cost that it takes to keep the safety levels up and all of that. It's just a mess. And once the gas station, they're going to say, forget about it. They're not even going to bother to put a gas pump up there. What for? They could have the electric cars come there, charge for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, and they can sell them all kinds of stuff. So they won't care about you. If you got a gasoline car, you're going to be there in 2 minutes and you'll be gone, gas pumping up. They don't care about you. They're going to go to the customer, they can make money, and they're going to favor them. So you got to get ready for this, okay? Let's move on. Okay, so Stephen pointed it out to the same thing that I'm going to point out to you is that big smile on Ross Gerber's face. That's the smile of somebody who gets it. And the fact that he's talking about Tesla and saying things like, they're not focused on making profits now. He's saying that they are Amazon 20 years ago when they were just setting the groundwork, building factories, growing the value of their company, and working on getting the price of their cars down. He said because the key thing that made him smile is they could turn on the profit spigot anytime they want. They could just start selling software, which cost them nothing to make. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. You know, he's finally got it, and you can see it in that big, huge, massive smile on his face. He got what I've been telling you for the last 6, 7, 8 months. Okay? So we're 8 months ahead of him. Tesla is 10 years ahead of everybody else. So we're in one of the best positions we can be in, black folks. And you have got to take advantage of this. Don't let this pass you by. If you've got money, get your money into this stock. And if you don't say you didn't know. That's all I'm asking you to do. When we start making money and things start blowing up, don't say you didn't know. Okay? Because God knows I'm expending a lot of energy to make sure you do. Okay? But I love you, so it's okay. I would do it anyway. All right? Because I love what I do. I love being tech. I love tech. I love the analysis of it. I love being on top of it. It's clean. It's smart. It's just so next level and revolutionary in terms of transportation, and it's just, folks, it don't get no better than, well, it does, but right now this is the best thing we got going. All right, so let's move it on to see what we got. Okay, now you heard that. All right, he's talking about, I don't remember the first point he made, but I remember the second and the third point, which is things that I told you before. That you could, well, the thing about being able to order the car on your phone and all of that, and digitally, and not having to deal with the dealership. But the thing I wanted you the thing I wanted to point out to you, when he mentioned that about the dealerships, he said they're terrible. That's not a good characteristic to have said about dealerships, that they are terrible and they stink. That's, see, Tesla is, and the OEMs, GM, Ford, Toyota, they don't own the dealerships. So there's nothing they can do about that. They have bought into that model and they're feeding that model. And that model is going to take them down because people hate going to dealerships. They hate going to service to get service on the car. That's the next thing he talked about. Having a car. And remember what he said. Since they've had the EVs, him and his wife, they've noticed almost no difference in their electric bill. Now that is big, folks. And remember, he said him and his wife. The other thing I pointed out, and I've been telling you, is that what you don't understand is when women get a hold of this, elderly people get a hold of the fact that these cars have almost zero maintenance. And you don't have to go to a gas station. If you have a private house, you plug that sucker up into your house. And it burns about as much electricity as your air conditioner. It's the same kind of 330 watt electrical outlet. And you could put a good 40, 50 miles on your car overnight. You probably won't use more than that in a day anyway. So you could be charging your car every night at home. Never have to go to a gas station or a fueling station or charging station. Okay? Unless you're going on a long trip somewhere. Then you might want to charge. Okay? But the key thing is no maintenance. It's clean. They haven't even brought up the fact that they can drive the car right into their living room. They haven't even brought that up yet. Folks, do you understand? And, again, it's mind-boggling. Because the thing about the Tesla that I'm trying to get you to understand is it's very difficult to get people to understand something that they're not doing anymore. See, I can tell you stuff that I'm doing that sucks. But when I'm trying to tell you stuff that I'm no longer doing that is next level, it's hard to point that out to you. Because you're not doing? Because you're used to having to do stuff. And you're used to being pointed or focused on things that you have to do that suck. Okay? So this is why with Tesla you can't see this. Because it's stuff you're not going to be doing. When you get full self-driving and you get confident in it and people really get their heads wrapped around, it's going to take about another year. And women realize that this full self-driving autopilot thing is safer than they can drive. When they get there, let me tell you, older women, because older people are really jacked up because their sight is bad. Most of them don't drive at night anymore because their sight is bad. They get an electric car, they put that sucker on autopilot and tell it navigate on autopilot to Kelly's house or to Susan's house or to Janice's house. And they press the button and thing just go and they don't have to worry about it. Sit back and let the car just take them there. It's going to be game over, folks. And the car never goes to the shop. I remember Tesla, I saw a YouTube video. Tesla said, don't bring the car in unless we tell you to bring it in. Once every 4 years, bring it in. Unless something go wrong, if it's brakes or something like that, and it's not covered on the warranty, just go get your brakes replaced. That's it. That's the biggest problem. And you won't even be able to do that, folks. Because with full self-driving, when you take your foot off the pedal, it's one pedal driving. You never put your foot on the brake. As soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, the car starts, the lights come on the back, and the car stops with regenerative braking. So that's putting power back into the battery. See, you haven't gotten your head around this technology because none of you have this car yet. But I'm telling you about this before you get it. So all of you, once you start getting this, black folks, oh, it's going to boggle your mind. Once you get this, what I'm trying to tell you, it's going to boggle your mind. Okay? And the savings are through the roof. No more tune-ups. No more fan belts. No more transmission slipping and all that other crap. None of that stuff don't exist at all. All of those millions of parts that break and mess up on these cars don't exist. Okay? Let's see what else we got going here. Okay. There you have it. Notice what he said. Notice what he said. He talked about Trump and these oil companies sticking with antiquated troglodytic industries. When these guys start saying things like that, I don't give a damn. This racial crap, these guys will drop you like a hot potato. And this is what I'm talking about here, folks, and why I back Tesla. Because this is groundbreaking, mind-boggling. He is the only one with a factory in China. 1.4 billion people. And it's not the number of people. These people are on the cutting edge of technology. They're just getting started. And Tesla is the #1 selling car in China. Folks, this is about markets. This is about sales. This is about being positioned in the right place at the right time. Where there is a revolution in energy usage. And who's on the cutting edge of that? Tesla. 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 We cannot miss this ball, family. I want you to understand the magnitude of what is going on here. And I may do 1 or 2 other movies like this coming off of the tail end of this Q3 report. I probably won't do another one until we get into the Q4 report. At the end of the year, they're gonna open up full self-driving in December, by the end of December, to everybody. The price is going to probably go up another $2,000. So now it'll be $12,000. I hope he doesn't raise the price anymore. I hope he just leaves it at $10,000 for a while. Because I really want to get this car, and I don't want to have to pay an extra $12,000, and I don't want it to chip into my my government subsidy, you know. So I want you to realize that when that full self-driving goes full ball and everybody's got it, the price is going to go up again. When the factory in China starts exporting cars to Europe, the price is going to go up again. And believe me, they're going to build another factory in China. I can guarantee you that. A factory in India, I don't see that happening at all. I don't even know what these people are talking about. India, they don't have no money. They cannot afford this car. They do better just to import the car from China. And that's probably what they're going to do. Or they'll import it from Germany. Germany is right there when they got the Gigafactory in Germany. So that's the way that's going to go. Okay? But I want you to understand that this full self-driving, forget about solar roof, forget about battery backups, power wall. When people haven't even woken up to that. When they wake up to that power wall and the fact that they can get free energy from their roof forever, oh, folks, and no maintenance, and the roof is almost unbreakable. There are so many facets to the products that Tesla is bringing to the market that people don't realize yet. And I'm telling you ahead of time, so you can get your stocks, buy your stocks, get your position in your portfolio where you can have yourself a couple thousand shares of Tesla stock. Okay? And then you just sit on it. Just sit on it. And in 5 years, 10 years, you're going to be a multimillionaire just with that one stock alone. And the other stocks that I'm giving you, Planet 13, when Biden gets in and they realize they got to, there's two ways you can raise taxes. You can raise, not taxes, but you can raise funds. You can raise revenue for the U.S. Treasury so you can do road projects and infrastructure projects and things like that. You can raise taxes, or you can legalize something that was illegal and get the tax revenue off of that. And sin tax, they call it. That'll be cannabis. That's going to be marijuana. That's the sleeping giant in the Democratic war chest. Remember, I told you this. So Planet 13 is a cannabis play. You want to be in that position while it's only $3, $4, $5 a share. You want to be in on FUV when they start going full ball with everything EV. You want to have FUV, you want to have Tesla, and you want to have that Planet 13, folks. Those three stocks, get in on them. And the Tilray is another lithium manufacturing, has the best, cleanest lithium on the market. Graphite and lithium, they produce a lot of different things. That's like a penny stock, folks. You want to start getting in on, you can get thousands of shares of that. I mean, if that goes up to $10, $15 a pop, and you got thousands of shares, each one goes up to $15 a share, oh, that's tens of thousands of dollars you're going to make right there, folks. And it's got to sit for 5 years if you put it in a Roth IRA. All right? So I'm sorry if I'm repeating a lot, but I want you to get this. I want you to get this. We cannot be left behind on this. Okay, family? So do your homework. Don't take my word for it. I'm giving you seed thoughts. I'm giving you information. Make your own judgments. You don't have to do what I'm telling. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm merely letting you know what I'm doing. And this is the analysis that I'm using to make my decisions. Okay? And so far, I haven't seen anything to make me change my mind on what I'm doing. Okay, family? Take care. Keep your mask on. We're not out of the woods yet. Okay? Hopefully, we'll get Biden in. If we don't get Biden in, all it'll do is delay it a little bit. 4 more years. If the filthy thing steals his way back in, Russians help him or whoever, and they rob and do whatever they do. They're always doing some illegal crap anyway. But hopefully we'll get Biden in. And if Biden gets in, life is going to get easier. They're going to murder a lot of people, the Trumpies and the Confederates. They always do. But we'll get over that too. That too will be solved. All right? Nothing is going to stop Tesla. Nothing is going to stop the forward motion on Planet 13. Sooner or later, it's going to come through. Because they're going to need the tax revenue. Okay? They're going to need the tax revenue. Trust me. You'll see. Take care, family. See you in the next movie.